Make a motion.
Second.
Motion second to approve. All in favor say aye.
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 Minutes approved. Okay, Barry, you're up first today.
This one's gonna be 2710 19th Street. One that we've all become very familiar with over the
Uh-huh.
better part of a year.
That's right.
Pretty good. I believe we can cut him loose.
You think we can cut him loose now, Barry?
Yes. I think he's in it too deep to back out now.
Oh, yeah, he's in it too deep now.
Well, he's made a huge difference.
Yeah, man, Lee. That's our
He
guy.
has gone through several inspections. He's passed a lot of them. He's got it to a point on the outside where we can consider it not to be a blight or a danger to the public anymore.
Okay.
We'd like to let the inspection department take it over and run it through inspections, get it code compliant on the inside now.
Congratulations, Mr. Seeley.
And Mr. Seeley won't be here tonight.
Ain't that amazing?
He will not be here.
You must told him that it was.
Well, he knew if he could get it to this point, we was gonna set him loose, and he wanted to be here, but he's got an appointment with his mom tonight.
Okay.
So he sends his regrets that he's not gonna be able to make it, but I still think we can cut him loose. And, Brandy, would you like to explain that process, please?
So, talked with Barry earlier today. This particular item, you guys would probably need to withdraw instead of denying, because withdrawing it will just kick it back to Barry and Virgil, and they'll keep an eye on it over the next couple of months. If you vote no, Barry closes the file, it's done. You guys would have to go through the whole process all over again, but kicking it back to them with a withdrawal, we'll just pull it off the agenda and let them handle it, okay?
Okay,
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
That's all we have.
that's all you have?
Thank you, Barry.
See y'all this evening.
Thank you. There you are, Zach.
All right, I've got one for you. My clicker's not working. There we go. All right, so this is an annexation, 8 Ridgeland, 0.61 acres. So it's a very small piece of property just north of Tuscaloosa Academy in the Ridgeland subdivision. So you can see the larger parcel they have purchased that's in the city. This little piece in yellow is not in the city. They've combined those two lots in order to build a home, as you can see here. And so they're just annexing in that little piece. And secondary expansion area for framework, it's directly adjacent to the city, next to Tuscaloosa Academy. No issues across the board in each and every department or division. And unanimously recommended for approval, and it can be adopted by unanimous consent following the introduction tonight. Any questions?
Nope. Any questions, Zach? Okay. Mayor Maddox?
Yes, sir. One, Mr. Crow is on his way. We left a luncheon. He was still there when I left, but he said he was coming, so he will be on his way. It is regarding city business, so he will be on his way. The second, certainly more exciting, Saturday is the Mayor's Cup. We have our largest registration in history. It's Kay and her team have done such a fantastic job in organizing it. With great weather, we'll have well over 1,600, 1,700 people racing on Saturday. So we hope the council will come out and enjoy. Now, when I say racing, I always get this question: do I have to run it? No, you can walk it. That's one of the cool things about it. And the proceeds all go to the Tuscaloosa Pre-K initiative, which goes directly into our classrooms for us to have basically universal pre-K in the city of Tuscaloosa. And so we're very excited about it. I hope that if this council, if you do come out, please come find me at the start line so I can introduce you to the crowd that will be there. But again, we're excited about it. It's hard to believe it's the 15th, I think, Mayor's Cup, maybe. So it's hard to believe it's grown to such a thing as this, and it all goes for a good cause. Plus, it's going to be kid friendly. There'll be kid stuff out there after it's over with.
All right.
So come on out and have a good time. And so Saturday morning, the race starts at 8. If you want to go ahead and register, you go to TuscaloosaMayorsCup.com. There will be, you can register Friday at Government Plaza. Packet pickup, by the way, is at Government Plaza on Friday, or Saturday morning before the race from 7 to 7:45. All right, that's all I have.
People are excited to get back out and events like this.
I think so too, and it's just a lot of fun. You see so many people that I always love seeing the kids get out there and run. They can't believe they get to run in the middle of the street. And Eli's, again, him and I are racing, so I've got to get ready for that 9-year-old.
Go Eli.
Yeah, so he's excited. But anyway, again, if you are there, please come find me so we can introduce you to everyone that will be there. And we have I won't tell you who, but one of our own city employees is singing the national anthem. And from what I understand, it's going to be really, really loud. That's all I have. And we will be requesting an executive session regarding 3 items.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, everyone come out. Saturday, it actually starts today, correct?
Starts today, but if you want to register, I would get there because it'll be crowded between 7 and 7:30.
Thank you, Mayor.
Also, yes, sir, today, Councilor Howard Williams and I had the opportunity to be in a luncheon on behalf of our city with Rick Manasco today and at the Environmental Services, and we were able to dialogue about the workers' compensation and the job that they're doing to try to make sure that our employees get the adequate resources that they need.
It was a great lunch.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all going, by the way.
I wanted to go, but I didn't have any transportation. That was 12.
You can always call me, I'll get you.
Yeah, I appreciate, absolutely both of you guys going. That's great. All right, Miss Brandy.
All right, so we've got 2 board appointments that we need to address today. Before we dive into Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports, I'm sure you all saw the letter that we got from Community Service Programs requesting that former council president, Mr. Harrison Taylor, replaces Ms. Lynn Cephas on the Community Service Programs of West Alabama's Board of Directors.
Okay.
It is a 4-year term. This would go through 2027. So if you guys approve of that, we'll go ahead and have an ordinance on next week's agenda.
I don't have any objection.
I don't have any.
I'm good.
Okay, we're good then.
That was easy. Now, Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports. If you guys remember last week, we were thinking about 2 particular applicants for this position on this board, and you guys wanted a little bit of time to either talk with them or review their resumes before we made a decision.
Last week, I really want to thank Shay Bird, who contacted me. Councilor Wilson said that she would be happy to wait till the next appointment, which will be in a few months, and look forward to her serving. So at this time, I would like to nominate. We can't vote, I know, but Dr. Brent Harden, Director of the Adapted Athletics.
I'll support him. I don't, again, we can't vote, so I don't know.
So we just want to support him and put on the agenda, though. Anybody have any problem with Brent Harden?
It's going on the agenda next week.
It sounds good.
Thank you, guys.
And, okay, that's all.
That's
So
all.
Harrison and then Brent, Dr. Harden. Okey-doke. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Don't have too many items for you today. I am, towards the top of page 2. We're on page 12. You'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Warrior Security LLC. This is a total not to exceed $50,000. It's doubled up and will be discussed in projects today. On page 13, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Vision Security Technologies. This is a total not to exceed $33,091.92 and came to you from projects last week. On pages 14 through 15, you'll be tentatively awarding a public works contract to ST Bunn Construction Company for phase 1 of the ESD parking lot improvement project. That is a total of $328,642 and came to you on projects last week. On page 16, you'll be amending the resolution previously adopted on February 7th, 2023, approving an application for a permit to construct a pier for commercial use on Lake Tuscaloosa. This was initially discussed in January. This item is a little bit different, and it's a little bit different is basically my fault. You may recall back several months ago, we cleaned up some business license type language where we basically said if you come before this body for an approval and then you later change what you're going to do, you need to come back for this body. So Mr. Turner was before you guys in January on a commercial pier permit that he is working on for the marina at the North River Yacht Club. Based upon, I believe, some procurement issues, he has changed the design and the materials that were in the original application. He's going to go from a floating design to a more stable design. Mr. Turner and Mr. LaFoy are here if there are any questions. Our opinion is that this actually hugs the shoreline a little better, and we see it as an improvement. But we wanted to make sure that what he was actually going to do was what was approved by this council. So we've brought it back to amend that prior application.
Can I ask a couple of questions? I hate to walk in.
Go ahead.
Pardon. Andy, the objections that were there of a lot of the homeowners, a lot of it was about the position of the docks, right? I mean, and where it was in the slough and all that. So this actually is gonna move it closer to the shore?
So what's gonna happen, basically, once we got approval, we went to the manufacturer, the aluminum floating docks, they would not be able to start procurement until October. And so, we were able to get, one of our partners, to construct docks out of wood and come up with a new design for that. It's the same, it looks the same, there's no difference in terms of, what we're doing, other than we're changing materials to wood. But and they're fixed instead of floating. So what that does is it creates a more stable structure. It's also allows us to bring it in closer to the shoreline, and that we expect to be able to then, the one that's already existing, that's the closest to the shore.
It says 56.
We think we can pull it
That
in
one? The one that says 56 boats?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We think once we get these pulled into the shoreline, that'll allow us to slide that over probably 10 to 15 feet closer to us.
Which was a big issue with those homeowners that are gonna try to build their own docks right there in that new development,
help.
correct? It'll make that, there'll be a bigger space,
There'll be a response.
which should be safer,
Yes.
right? That was another,
Um,
okay.
So I think that, our unfortunate on the timeline with the aluminum, they just switched gears, but I think it's going to result in something that looks better. It won't look as, the aluminum looks kind of industrial. This will be wood and should look a lot nicer.
And not floating, it's stationary.
Yeah, you'll still
Well, that's a
have-
big deal too, though, isn't it? I mean, I
It is.
think that's,
Yeah, it makes it a lot nicer. Now, the other dock that's, so just to make sure so this one will still be aluminum, that's here, but these all become wood along here.
all,
That's not there.
by where the restaurant is too, supposedly where the 8
Right.
boats, that's gonna be wood.
That's gonna be wood, but then we can pull this over to get more room over here, once we make those wood.
So the other one you said that's across from that, I can't see that, as I say number 6,
This one right here is 6, yes, sir.
so is that gonna be aluminum?
That's still, well, yes, as of now, it will be aluminum unless we can figure out a wood solution.
Does that move it closer in, or is it gonna be exactly what you've
It's
proposed?
exactly what we proposed, just because of the clearance here, because you have boats coming in here and here on either side of it. So this one does not change, it's just everything on the shore.
One other thing I just want to mention, unrelated, was one of the other issues that a couple of homeowners have called me about in this last month,
Okay,
was remember we talked about moving those buoys?
yes.
And I hope that,
That's
I don't
the
know,
state.
we need to,
We're gonna work on that.
Okay.
The
We need to
roads
do
and I are
that.
working on that with them.
That's
to
perfect.
Push those out, and we're,
to make it a more wake zone where the boats have to slow down for that whole area, it's too much traffic.
and so I've actually moved my office down there, so like I'm down there every day.
That's tough.
While we're doing all this work. And, I will say that there is a blatant disregard for the wake zone. I mean, it is, it doesn't matter who it is, pontoon boats, jet skis, fishing boats, they don't check up. And, once I've got my staff down there, if they come in and stop it may be worthwhile, catching some folks in here,
Maybe write some tickets.
write some tickets, because I've been down there a week, and it's
I ran over the back.
pretty rampant, they just disregard the weight limit signs.
So it sounds like a lot of the residents' concerns are valid.
In
And
terms
part of that,
ignoring the weight
Yeah.
zone, yes, and I think moving it further out will help, and then be a little bit of enforcement, because it's, I think they think there's nobody around, and so they don't care, but, and one person made the comment, well, I mean, what does it matter if there's no people around? I said, well, what matters is you're rocking all of these boats and all these docks, and you're washing out the shoreline by flying up in here, and that's why it matters. So we're gonna start, I'll be down there personally starting to call people out on it, but I think having some tickets would help too. Yes, sir.
thank you, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Some question, who writes tickets on the water?
Our lake.
Typically us, occasionally the state will show up, but it's
There's no-
usually.
Yeah, there is a state.
There is a state boat, they
Well-
kind of come and go, I'm not sure how often, chief, it's just kind of on a.
They don't write a whole lot of tickets out there, they're more, patrolling and.
Alcohol related.
Drunken people.
Do that.
I'll tell them to step it up.
Yeah, I think it just take a little bit to send a message to people, I think, wherever they're around.
Okay.
On page 17, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way permit to Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Department, and that was discussed in projects last week. On page 18, you'll be authorizing execution of agreements, amendments, and related documents for services provided to the city of Tuscaloosa by Comcast. That was discussed in projects last week. On page 19, you'll be authorizing a fixed-based operator, Hawthorne Global Aviation Services, to enter into a sublease with Rev Aviation for flight school and aircraft rental at Tuscaloosa National Airport. That was discussed in projects last week. On page 20, you'll be authorizing amendment number 2 to the contract with Pioneer Technology Group LLC for professional services for the Tuscaloosa Municipal Court Software Project. That was discussed in projects last week. On page 21, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute an application for an energy efficiency and conservation block grant program. That is doubled up and will be discussed in project today. And then finally, on page 22, you'll be reappointing Brian Grignard, John H. England, and Mike D. Smith as substitute municipal court judges, which was discussed in admin last week. Are there any questions for me?
Questions for Scott?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we got projects 230, Finance 315, one item, public safety at 4, council meeting at 6, airport advisory, we'll meet tomorrow at 3. And don't forget, we got our capital projects council work session Friday at 1:30 right here in this Doherty room. Anyone else?
I do.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask the chief or whoever needs to go into this. We're having a lot of problems, as you know. It's snow hitting cars and those apartments next door. Is there any way we could maybe shut down Snow Hinton Park on Friday night at dark or anything like that? That's something we could look into.
We can definitely take a look at it, and see if it'd be bringing up barricades or like that, to be more involved with just my department.
Sure.
Because if you use slide barricades, they're literally getting moved out of the way, we have to do water barricades or something like that. That's something we can definitely take a look at.
I'm getting a lot of complaints, and I think if you go over there, you'll see where they're doing the donuts in the parking lot and all that. I'm hopeful when we get everything done over there, it'll cut a lot of this out.
Yes, you'd be open to going and closing the road in advance of the project itself. We could put, it wouldn't look good necessarily, it wouldn't be aesthetically pleasing, but knowing we'll go to bids early summer and hopefully construction by late summer, it's gonna be closed anyway. Why don't you think about it?
Think about that.
I need to talk with Summer and Selvin.
Sure,
It may
yeah.
be a horrible idea, but
I don't know, but people could still walk over there somehow, couldn't they? They
then park in the parking lot,
park in the parking lot, just close the road down.
close the cut-through road.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a very good idea. Because that's what we're gonna do,
I agree, because
Eventually.
it really shouldn't have, I mean, that was a bad idea anyway, back in the day.
but that might help a
That's
lot.
before us, but that.
Nothing before.
That's true, that wasn't, yeah, that was, no, that was before me. But that's very rare, that's for sure, but, it's done, caused nothing but problems. that street through in so many instances, I know.
And the chief's
Chief agrees
resources
with that.
are just strapped, especially on the weekend. And
It's been bad, hasn't it?
I don't wanna cause problems, but
Cause I know my phone blows up too, like yours about, it started again, it's snow hunting, and then y'all come out there and then they all take off and then they chase them.
Yes, sir, we go from gas station, parking lot.
Right. Alrighty. Okay, anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do I have here, by the way, firefighter appreciation lunch, don't forget, May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The people, you need to know in advance who's coming on which days.
No, sir.
Chief.
Feel free to come either day, or any of the 3 days.
Okay.
3 days, three free days.
We'll go every day.
You know what you did.
Yeah. They have Robertson's Barbecue, 11 to 2.
Thank you, okay.
Come for first lunch and second lunch.
There you go. Meet all the firefighters.
We'll be there too.
I tell you, that's a great idea. It's just like the police officers. They're so young, and some of the new firefighters are so young, and I used to know, talking about back in the day, I used to know everybody.
Yeah, there wasn't but about 25
Yeah,
of them.
and yeah, so I know their names, and I knew, who was at which station. Now these kids they're kids.
Feel old.
Their kids.
Yes,
their
but
kids are
but it's good to know and let them know, because many of them, they don't know who their council people are. I mean, that's just
Oh,
true.
I think they do.
I don't know. But, that'd be great. Appreciate you doing that. Oh, Chief, how many are we still at, as far as your numbers?
We're at 30 now, so we were at 33, now we're at 30, so a little better.
Yeah, a little better. All right. Okay, is there a motion that we go into executive session?
Second.
Motion is second. Mr. Hall.
Yes, sir. As your city attorney and an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that the discussions in executive session are appropriate for executive session. Then we have 3 items. First, to discuss with their attorney the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation, controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated, or imminently likely to be litigated if the governmental body pursues a proposed course of action, as well as to discuss security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, or systems, or the security or safety of persons, structures, facilities, or other infrastructure, the public disclosure of which could reasonably be expected to be detrimental to the public safety or welfare, and also to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governmental body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies in Alabama, in states or foreign nations, and that the discussions would have a detrimental effect upon the competitive position of a party to the negotiation or upon the location, retention, expansion, or upgrading of a public employee or business entity in the area that is served by the governmental body if disclosed outside of the executive session.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part Mr. Crowe was
Can't wait to be in this room.
Blah, 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 or something.
It's kind of like the teacher in Charlie Brown. Blah, blah, blah. All right. If you're not, so we have motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.